but there's gonna be a party when the wolf comes home.
Hello, and welcome back to the Basement Gun Shop. This isn't an AR build video. This is kind of one of those off-topic videos. I just created a section for them if you want to hear my opinion on other things. If not, then I'm sorry, but you're going to have to wait 2 or 3 more days till I get the AR fully built and get the videos uploaded, edited, and uploaded. Because, you know, we all know that I do high quality, you know, editing jobs, and you know, everything's just so, you know, it looks perfect and I don't make mistakes like dumping a recoil spring out of a piston driven AR because I hinge it, you know, stuff like that. But the reason for this video, a couple weeks ago I was having a conversation with my friend Greg at work, and I was bouncing around the forums tonight, and somebody asked the age-old question, which reminded me of the conversation with Greg. What would you do if, right this second, an armed intruder kicked in your door? Worst case scenario, totally unprepared. What would you do if? My answer was quite simple. I was sitting at my kitchen table. 55 feet 9 inches away is my front door. I would simply get up from my seat, calmly walk to the kitchen doorway, drawing a Glock 29 loaded with Hornady Critical Defense 180 grain hollow points. Get to the doorway, stop, wait 3 seconds to give the 11-year-old in the front room, in the living room, time to get out of the way. Present, lean, double tap. Done. Or present, lean, assess the situation, find the intruder, and then deal with it. So how in the name of God do I know that 55 foot 9 inches from my kitchen door is my living room door? My reply on that specific forum got pretty lengthy, actually. And I want to expound on that reply here. I did not link that reply to my channel. It was just there, and I want to talk about it now. Maybe it'll help someone. Maybe a lot of people will say, man, you need to take that tinfoil hat off. Which, that's fine. I'm not overly concerned about your opinion. If you're, you know, one of those that think I'm a tinfoil hat wearing whack job. And it may indeed be a little over the top, but I decided a long time ago, and I had my entire family preach at me that if you're going to do something, you do it right. When I purchased my first firearm, it was a Smith & Wesson Model 459 9mm. I was 21 years old, newly married, living in probably one of the worst neighborhoods in North Charleston, South Carolina, right outside the naval base, because the boat I was serving on, the USS Woodrow Wilson, my second boat, was in dry dock. I lived right at the intersection of Cochise and Cherokee Streets, and all of Cherokee Street was owned by a Baptist church, and it was a rehab for drug and alcohol. So needless to say, there were a number of unsavory types. Granted, I'm not saying good people don't get caught up in that. But what I am saying is there are some serious scumbags down that block out to Sproul Avenue. And there were some scumbags on Cochise Street as well. So I needed to protect my wife. I needed to have something in the house for her to protect herself. About 4 months after we got married, we found out she was pregnant. and I decided now it's time. And I went and I purchased my very first firearm. We had a two-bedroom apartment, or two-room apartment. The living room, kitchen thing, and the bedroom, and the bathroom off the bedroom. That was it. It was all we could afford. So I started looking at, if somebody tries to get in, what do I do? How do I protect my pregnant young wife? And that question has stayed with me my entire life. I'm now pushing 50 with a bulldozer. My daughter's grown, married. I have two hellion grandsons. They live in Kentucky with their mom and dad. And, but that's besides the point. So, how do I protect my home and by extension, the people I love? The first thing I realized that when I was going to the range to practice, I was rolling a pistol target out 20 yards, and I was just banging holes in paper. And it occurred to me, this is a lot farther than I'm ever going to have to shoot to defend my house. So I sat down and thought, what do I need to do to make my practice real world? I got a tape measure, and I measured all the rooms in the apartment. After we moved out of the apartment, we moved out into a really nice condo out in Goose Creek, South Carolina. So now I had more rooms, more potential places to hide, more potential places of entry. So I started thinking, there's a lot of angles that I can get ambushed from. If I'm coming out of my bedroom and someone's in the spare bedroom, I'm going to walk right by them and I'm going to turn my back to them. So I started, for lack of a better term, identifying lines of fire. If I come out of this room, what do I need to check first? I need to check the most likely place that an intruder is going to be, over there. So I would come out, peek that way. No one there. Listen, do I hear anything? Check at my back into this room. So the best piece of advice I can give you is always have a way to defend yourself and your family on you. I thought to myself, if I'm sitting in the living room and someone rips through the screen porch and my gun's in the bedroom, what am I going to do? Get up and run away from my now very pregnant wife into the bedroom to get my gun and leave her there? I've had friends and family alike say to me, you carry in your house? Yes, I carry in my house. Because if I hear something, someone banging, someone kicking my door in, for whatever reason, what am I going to do? I'm in the basement right now. Am I going to run up the steps, around the door, through the dining room, up the steps, down the hall, into the front bedroom to grab a gun? That's 8-9 seconds worth of travel. That's an eternity when your family's in danger. I want to have something on me immediately that I can respond with equal or greater force than any intruder coming into my house. So I made that decision 20 years ago that I was going to carry all the time. And I do. I always have a knife in my pocket and a gun on my hip. So what do you do? How do you prepare yourself? This combines a lot of principles of self-defense, home defense, shooting, cover and concealment, hard cover and concealment, into one little video. Hard cover. Something that will stop a bullet. Believe it or not, a lot of homes are very limited on hard cover. Most interior doors will not stop a bullet. My front door is 2.5-inch thick solid oak. I'm not sure if that will stop a bullet. Now, I'm not going to go punch a hole in my door with a 10mm to see if it'll stop a bullet. That's not going to happen. But nevertheless, I'm not going to take that chance. That is not cover. It's concealment. I watched some great training videos from Rob Pincus. They were Personal Defense Institute. I got them through the NRA. They were at an indoor training range complete with a live firehouse called Valhalla somewhere out west. And in one of the scenarios, they had a metal door, a metal interior door, cracked open, and you could see a target on the other side of the door. Bang, bang, right through the door, the target fell through an interior metal door. And they were using, I believe they were using frangible ammunition. Maybe not in the hot house, in the live firehouse. But you get my point. So you need to know what offers cover and what offers concealment in your house. You need to know the distances that you're going to have to shoot to defend your home. Just pick a scenario. You come downstairs in the morning and there's someone standing in your living room. How far is it from the bottom of your steps to the middle of your living room? And incorporate that distance, shooting at that distance, in your real world practice. Now, a lot of gun clubs, a lot of ranges, they have restrictions on distances you can shoot, on what you can do when you're at the range. Some ranges get upset if you have more than 4 or 5 rounds in your gun. Some ranges get upset if you do rapid fire like double tap or triple tap drills. They get upset. I'm fortunate my club doesn't mind. As long as it's not full auto, they're okay. And so are the neighbors, because most of the neighbors are members. But incorporate that distance into your real world range practice. Something else a lot of people fail to consider who have a handgun for defense. They might have all the practices and all the rules and everything down up here, but when they lean out from cover, they miss. Why do they miss? Because your sights are no longer in the vertical plane and horizontal planes that they're designed to work in. They're now like this because you're leaning. So it's important to know where your gun is going to hit and adjust accordingly and incorporate that into your practice. A lot of times, unfortunately, we go out to the range and we put up a target and we set up our ammo on our benches and we put our eyes and ears on and we start banging away, punching holes in paper. And we don't practice with a purpose. Set a target out at 55 feet 9 inches. Take a tape measure. I think you can pick up like a little wheel measure for walking the ground at Lowe's for 15 bucks. Put it in your range bag and walk off 50 feet and buy a little portable target stand and there, 55 feet. And shoot at that. And there's one distance. Know that the 180 grain 10mm bullet is going to drop 3/4 of an inch at 50 across 50 feet and do whatever. So for a center of mass hit, your hold is still center of mass because you're only dropping 1 inch. Okay? Practice with a purpose. It's one of the best things you can do when you're out at the range. Reload drills, jam drills. If you buy some of the little orange fake bullets, snap caps, you can easily practice jam drills, reload drills, malfunction drills, practice them at home. Practice shooting with your sights out of alignment just a little bit, as if you're leaning around a doorway or leaning right. Practice leaning left or right. Practice weekend shooting, leaning left around a doorway. You never know when you might have to lean that way. Unorthodox shooting positions is always a good thing to practice. So that's something else you can incorporate into your range time. And of course, you know, you're gonna look goofy, so if you're there with your friends and you're shooting like this, hey, they get to make fun of you, you get to laugh at them making fun of you, but if you ever have to do it, guess who's gonna be on target? The guy who practiced it and knows where he's gonna hit when the X and Y planes of his sights are reversed. So that's something that, you know, you can think about as well. I may be just spouting hot air, but you know, that's one of the things that I think about and one of the things that I practice on a regular basis. Measure your house. Measure the rooms. Measure from the front door to the bottom of the steps. And think in 3 dimensions, not 2. We live in a 3-dimensional world. There's nothing that says in the rules, if you're defending your house, where your steps come down past your first floor ceiling, there's nothing in the rules that says you can't literally lay down your steps like this and roll down into that gap between the top step and the ceiling to see what's going on. Something to think about. Stay back from doorways and slice the pie. What I mean by that is there's a wall here and a doorway. Don't get right up on it because you can engage a target through interior walls. I'm not saying it's legal, I'm saying it's possible. Okay? We're talking about the realm of possibility. If a bad guy's shooting at you and he hits a wall right next to you, and that wall consists of a metal or wooden stud, and it's it's 6 inches, that wall is 6 inches wide, so there's 6 inches separating you and the point of impact. There's not 6 inches separating you from that point of impact. There's ½ an inch of drywall, maybe some insulation, and another ½ inch of drywall. If you get lucky, it'll hit the stud, and it might stop in the stud. Otherwise, guess where it's going? Into you. So don't get up on the wall. Stay back from it. Have your gun out, and little bits of the pie at a time. Every time you come out, it's going to increase your angle of visibility. Don't just step out and think you're going to surprise them or whatever. You're getting ready to enter into an armed conflict. Be careful. Take it slow. You have the advantage. You know the layout of your house. I can walk into my house in the middle of the night at 1 o'clock in the morning, shut and lock the front door, walk into the dining room, take my coat off, drop it on a chair at the dining room table, put my hat on the table, put my keys and my phone and everything in my hat, walk by the dining room table, walk around the dining room table, go upstairs, walk into my bedroom, and never turn on a light. I know my house. This is the house I grew up in. The furniture hasn't moved in 60 years. So in my 48 years, I've been making the same turns to go upstairs, making the same turns to go out in the kitchen, walking the same distance to go from the front door to the back door. Okay? You have the advantage. You already know the layout of the house. The intruder is flying blind unless he's been in your house. He or she has been in your house before. Now you've got a problem. Because if they've been in your house, odds are they know what you've got and where you've got it. Because they're probably someone you know. And this falls back to the prepping video I did, Keep Your Mouth Shut. Just because someone's in your house, don't mean you got to show everything you got off to them and make them like you're their best bud or they're your best bud or whatever. Okay? So keep that in mind. But you know the layout of your house. Diagram it, measure it, think in 3 dimensions, determine your lines of fire, and have that plan ready. Just run yourself through scenarios. I'm walking in the side door of my house. My house has 3 doors, 3 exterior doors. I'm walking in the side door of my kitchen and I hear bad noises coming from the living room. What do? I'm down here in the basement. I hear someone kick in my front door. What do? I'm upstairs in the basement and I hear someone kicking in. Actually, there's 4 exterior doors kicking in the back door of the basement. What do? How do you deal with that? These are things you need to take into account. And if you're married and your wife goes along with it, or even your kids, have your kids help. Have one of your kids stand at this door and start walking down the steps and say, when can you see my foot? When you can see your foot, you can be engaged as a target. Something is visible, that target can be engaged through whatever force the intruder has at their disposal. Keep in mind, you can do the same thing. So that's something I just wanted to throw out there, kind of a little home defense idea starter. I really just felt like doing it because I'm kind of missing the basement gun shop, and because the parts aren't going to be in for another 2 days. It's only Tuesday, so I got all day tomorrow to wait and all day Thursday to wait till I get home, and then UPS won't be here till around 6. And that's going to be a big box of parts, and then I got to wait for the parts on Friday because, believe it or not, when I ordered the parts that are coming on Thursday, I forgot to order the bolt. For God's sake, of all things, I forgot to order the bolt. So I had to rush order another bolt and, well, some other tools that I had my eye on for a while, because I'm not going to pay $15.95 shipping and only order an $80 bolt. I'm going to run that bill up. So that was another $200 order. But that notwithstanding, so that's my 2 cents on defending your house. So that's it for this edition. It's kind of a little off topic about home defense. So hey, thanks for watching the Basement Gun Shop. If you like the channel, like it, subscribe even better. And until next time, stay safe and keep shooting.